Hello there, welcome to a new video of ours. Before we start, we like to say it's prudent that you guys help us in liking, commenting, and subscribing, and keeping your notification on for when we drop new videos. Today's video, we're going to talk about the basic low time frame charting that Jigsaw offers. Within your Jigsaw day trade panel, it's the one that looks like a chart. Let's have it set for the ES. Most of these charts. We'll have our basic candlestick charts, which we'll come back to. For now, I want to speak on what Jigsaw offers over its competition. The JTCSI charting. This chart style is called CSI, which is short for the Cumulative Sheep Index, as a notation of people who tend to follow. So this chart type is not indicating bearish or bullish price action. This is indicating a relative volume for each minute. And that is where if it's sloping down, volume is drying up within the day. And if it comes to start sloping upwards, there is a spike in volume for that few minutes of time. So, regardless of if we were above or below an average, if it was flat as it started off the day, it means that volume is sort of normal. So just to reiterate, if it's sloping down, volume is drying up. If it's sloping up, then that volume is starting to gain activity. Oh, one last thing though. Within its settings, the most settings you should change would just be its width of bars. If you wanted to see less of a thin bit of them, as well if you wanted a different color. That's one of the main settings you can change. Our next one we'll speak on is the JT footprints. By default, once I have my data history loading, by default, the JT footprints have their own style of being viewed, which is actually how the market trades. Markets trade in a bid versus ask, lower price versus a price above it. And so it's angled in that sort of form to be more intuitive for you to see. The number that gets highlighted in yellow is the setting for what you set as an imbalance percentage, and to show you what is above that average imbalance. The yellow square is not a point of control that some people might assume with other platforms. This just shows you what was the last price that had finished trading. Within its settings, if you don't like the way that Jigsaw likes to have a default, it's the tilt mode. Setting that off, you'll get more classic styled footprints that read left to right. But of course, always remember that prices should be read diagonally. If you don't like showing a histogram that's shown within here, you untick your histogram. The setting for the imbalance currently sets to 200%, which means that anytime it's about more than twice, you'd want to set maybe a higher number, let's say 400%. So now it has to be about 4 times as high for the imbalance to show on the lettering. If the yellow boxes for closing prices gets confused to you, you can unclick from here. If you prefer more visual styled profile, you can untick your numbers and then retick your histogram. This will style for a diagonal. This is going to be more based on how the numbers are done diagonally for the histogram. So you know that above the prices, there was no interest, and there's only a few that sold or bought here. The histogram size can be change to what is currently visible to you or to what is just within the bar. You can have a basic volume profile where it's both sides split evenly, or off only to one side, or as a delta, which is the amount of buying minus the amount of selling. If we said it's just volume profile, you can also change the alignment of the profiles to either left or right. And of course, all the colors you can customize within here. The next chart we'll show is the market profile chart. This is currently set so that each single tick of price gets its own letter. Once you've zoomed in close enough, the letters will start to show. If you zoom out, you'll just get boxes. Currently, it's set to show extended hours, but if you'd like to take that off, you may do so here. So it only shows the RTH hours. Currently shown for both the TPO and a colored volume profile. If you set just a TPO, it removes the volume profile. Or if you would prefer just to have the volume without the TPOs, you can do so as well. We'll keep a TPO for the rest of this part of the section of learning. Right now we have colored by time, and that is based in these colors. If you untick that, it will take only the color of your POC color. So they're going to appear as just this golden color. If you untick your TPO value lines, those are these lines that pop off from the TPO. If you want something a little bit more clean, if you want to take off that as well, extending them out, you can untick that to stop that from happening. And if you like for the shading to be removed as it gets darker shade on top, lighter shade being the value, you may untick it here as well. Note that with any chart type, you get two options, a light and a dark. This is the light, this is the dark. These were both set colors that are easy on the eyes. They're more of a solarized color scheme. We go into our basic candlesticks. This is what most people tend to start with in trading, not preferred by ourselves, but Jigsaw does allow you to have candlestick bars, regular bars, bars that get colored, a line chart, hollowed candles, so that upward moving candles are hollowed and downward moving candles are filled, mountain charts, a baseline chart for what you set as your own baseline to know how much it's moved from then. Volume candles get thicker with more volume, thinner with less volume. I can ask you to show a continuation of trends. Kagi, line break, Renko bars, range bars, and of course, point and figure charts. Moving back to our footprint chart. Let's untake this. You can set up your statistics in indicators. They have the JT footprint statistics stats. We click add. Okay. With having everything shown, you can also drag this to change the sizing. We have total volume, only the buy volume of orders hitting the ask, only sell volume, orders hitting the bid, the delta, the difference between them, and the cumulative delta of the day. The shading is also going to be on a color scheme you choose of, with darker colors in this indicating. with lighter colors, sorry, indicating higher volumes, and dark colors indicating lower volumes. If you're using a candlestick chart, there is the JT swing charts. These show where the number of contracts that have been traded since the last major swing up or swing down. That is the total in this bluish shade. And then the green numbers is the amount of ticks that have moved from the last swing. The color of the line is whether or not, if it's a blue line, the upswing had more volume greater than the last downswing. And it'd be a red line when this downswing had more volume than the last upswing. So these movements up seem to have more bearish volume going in. Getting rid of that. We'll have a cumulative delta added in. This adds a cumulative delta just like in our recent Auction Vista video. Will be candlestick based of how delta has been changing from what you have set in your time period. So even with higher prices, we have yet to even beat out back to a regular zero delta. Something to be cautious of, but not necessarily that important for this video. The last thing that JT adds in is the volume profiling tool. Right now, set with selectable in the settings. Clicking on this lower upper left selection allows me to choose areas that I like to create a volume profile for. You click once, drag and click again to identify an area. If you remove that profile you created, you click the X here. If you go into the settings and we have it set to be more static, you can have it set to just sessions, so that each session gets their own volume profile. If you set it to a composite, you want to composite it by not only just visible, let's say a certain amount of days, and we'll have it set to just every 2 days. We'll get the last 2-day period of, now we have 5. This is 5 days for our composite. I tend to prefer using just the selectable or sessions. You can tick to show the value area. And that's going to be based in the coloring. We have our POC price and price lines set up to the side here. You can change the alignment from being on the right side to the left side. And then all the colors involved with the volume profile. There have been included some other indicators that tend to be used by the masses that surprisingly Jigsaw added in, but not ones we'll cover in this video, as they're not ones we tend to use very often. Maybe aside from VWAP. And with that one, you can set up different standard deviations or have them to be shaded. And this will all look better on a lower time frame of candles. At the moment, Jigsaw has only minutes or seconds as well as the other candlestick types, but they don't have different time frames, like say having ticks and volume-based charts. For the moment, they just have minute-based charting styles, which for many is enough to go with, especially for those that don't really use the charts at the moment. But it's something that the developers of Jigsaw look to be improving in the future when they decide to get to that. These are the things that Jigsaw tends to offer. And of course, where they lack as far as charting goes is the more advanced charting types you can see with tick-based charts and volume-based charts to get more specific views within what a time frame would show normally. So even though we see that this move had been occurring upwards from 1130 to 1150, if we had a tick-based or even a volume-based chart, we'd see more swings occurring within. Jigsaw also does include a few drawing tools, tend to be the basic ones that most people tend to use. Clicking on this drawing icon here will open up the panel on the left. You get your basic ones like channels, average line, cross lines, continuous lines. We have Fibonacci's for projections, etc., etc. Having an info box allows you to see information regarding highs, lows, closes, and opens for each bar, and the amount of volume that occurred within a bar as well. And if you need to reload the chart, you may do so with this. I think that is a quick rundown of the charting within Jigsaw. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And know that we have created separate sets of playlists in case you need to go about finding a specific genre of videos you'd like to see from us. Currently, we have most of our tutorial videos in the tutorial playlist, and we'll be building out other playlists in the future. Have a good day.